And so let me show you a little bit of what we did this year, 2012. Well, here we go. Here's the adventure. So we're looking south, and we started in March of 2012. And we climbed a hill called Iron Mountain. And Iron Mountain is, you can't see it here, it's south of here maybe 40-50 miles. And it's a smaller mountain, not very challenging, but very popular. Climbing that mountain was like being on I-5 during rush hour. Everybody can climb Iron Mountain. So that was 5 miles, and we did that on 3 March. And then 2 weeks later, on March 10th, John Isaacson and a few other Team Kedge members, I didn't make that one, but that was Mount Woodson. We did that later this year, but Mount Woodson is also to the south. And it's a really nice hike. And I'm not sure how tall Mount Woodson is, but it's a bit more challenging than Iron Mountain, but still fairly easy compared to some of the other mountains we did. Okay, then we move a little bit to the east here, and I'm going to zoom in and you'll see, I hope you can see it, it's an observatory on the hilltop. It's right under that cloud. There it is. That is the Palomar Observatory, and we climbed to the highest point in that mountain range, and that is Palomar Mountain. It's called High Point, and it's right there. Hopefully it's not shaking too much. So that was a really nice hike. And that one was, let me check the sheet. So that one was 13 miles. That was one of our longer hikes. And it was out and back, 4,000 feet of elevation gain. And we did that one just fine. Now, before that one, I'm going to come over here to the east more slowly. We did Takowitz Peak. And let me give you a perspective. Okay, that's Mount San Jacinto in the distance. Second tallest mountain in Southern California. Okay, that's right there. We did Takowitz Peak right there on 31 March, and there was still snow even in the spring at that time of year. Not enough to keep us from summiting, but that was really neat. And there's a ranger station at the top, and it was closed, we couldn't get in, but it was really, really neat. And that one was 8 miles out and back, 2,500 feet of elevation gain, and that one took us up to about 8,800 feet. Okay, so then we went to Orange County, which was the tallest mountain in Orange County, and that's Santiago Peak, and it's somewhere in the distance. I'm not sure if you can see it, but that one was on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. We did that, and we used the Holy Jim Trail, and we took that 13 miles out and back, 4,000 feet elevation gain, and that was a beautiful, beautiful climb. One of the most scenic. And I happened to get some poison oak on that one, so that wasn't that great. After the hike, it wasn't that great. Okay, and I missed one to the south, and I can't believe I did that. Back to the south again, and that was El Cajon Peak, and that was a bitch. Some of the articles we read and some of the internet postings claim that El Cajon Peak is the tallest, or not the tallest, it's the toughest climb in San Diego County. And that one is just up and down and up and down and up and down. And it was 11.5 miles. It was 4,000 feet elevation gain, and you climbed each way on the out trip and on the return trip. And it was brutal, let me tell you. And we did it on a very hot day, and all of us ran out of water, but fortunately we ran out of water with only a couple miles to go, so we made it home safely. And then there is Diamond Valley Lake, and that's what you're looking at right now. Diamond Valley Lake, completely flat, and there's a trail that goes all the way around that lake, and you can see the levee there in the front, and the trail goes right across the levee. Ended up being, for some of us, 22 miles. For some others, it started at a different point, 25 miles. But in the end, we thought this was going to be the easiest hike. It's the distance of Whitney, but it's just simply flat. And I think because we were walking on the hard surface, plus we were hitting the same pressure points on our feet, every one of us, our feet were killing us at the end of that hike. Bob Argenbright almost passed out. I think that may have been one of his thinking about quitting point during this whole training evolution up to Mount Whitney. And but he made it. We all made it, and it was a very, very tough day. Hot, and our feet, like I said, were killing us. And we did that one on 19 May. And so we're getting closer to Mount Whitney at that point. Okay, so now I'll have to go to the west, the northwest. There is Mount Baldy. And I hope you can see that. And there it is. Okay, it's zooming in a little bit, and I'm hoping that it focuses. There we go. That is 10,000 feet, Mount Baldy, the third highest mountain in Southern California. But the Old Baldy Trail, some claim, is the toughest trail in Southern California. We started with 10 that day, and only 4 of us made it. And at that point, I thought we were going to drop some team members for good. Okay, and Mount Baldy was, that was on 3 June, getting close to the July 24th Whitney date. And that was 12.8 miles out and back, 5,744 feet elevation gain, 10,064 feet at the summit. And look at it, it's pretty with all the snow. So like I said, 4 of 10 of us made it. And it was definitely a critical point in our training cycle. And I gotta tell you, nobody quit. We took a different trail the following 2 weeks from that, Ski Hut Trail from that date. And that was on 16 June. And everybody made that hike and made it to the summit. So that was the confidence booster that we needed. So everybody summited Mount Baldy. Beautiful, beautiful hike. Okay, now panning back in and moving to the north. There's Gorgonio, we'll get to that in a second. There's San Jacinto Peak, right there. San Jacinto Peak. Beautiful, beautiful hike. And we started in Idlewild, which is right over here, and we kind of hiked up that ridge and across the mountains to the peak over there on Devil's Slide Trail. And we did that hike on 30 June. And that was 16 miles. Wow, that was a pretty long one. Out and back, 4,384 feet in elevation gain, 10,834 feet at the summit. And everybody made that one. Jessica almost quit on that one. She had a point where she stopped on the trail and said, I don't know if I can do this, but she made it. She put her mind to it and made it to the top. Very challenging. So good job, Jess. So that's San Jacinto Peak, snow covered. And a few weeks ago, John Isaacson and myself and Tony Wyman, he wasn't part of the team then, but is now, Tony Wyman, we started in Palm Springs on the other side of that mountain at 400 feet elevation and climbed to the top of Mount San Jacinto in 10 hours and 45 minutes with a 10,000 foot elevation gain, and we did about maybe 23 to 25 miles. And Backpacker Magazine claims that that trail we took, it was is the 5th toughest hike in the United States, and we believe it. That was a tough one. And then finally, before we did Mount Whitney, we did the tallest mountain in Southern California, and it's near Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead, and that is this San Gorgonio, Mount San Gorgonio. And I hope it comes into focus. There it is. That's the monster there, snow covered. There wasn't snow when we climbed it, but it was still tough. So that was, I actually did it twice. I did it once with John, and then John and Brittany and Bob Bruns, and then did it again on 30 June. Actually 14 July, sorry, I'm getting my dates mixed up. 14 July we did San Gorgonio, Mount San Gorgonio. Using the Vivian Creek Trail, we did 16 miles, again, out and back, 5,500 feet elevation gain, and 11,502 feet at the summit. That's the highest we had been to that point, and everybody made it. That was a great day. Wayne Roseberry brought his cousin Brad along, and he was like a guinea pig. He wasn't hiking, he was visiting from Florida, young guy. He's a college student in his early